there have been a lot of protests as of recent. And yesterday in my community of Pasadena, California, there were protests specifically for Anthony McClain. And that's because he was shot by police about a week ago. And they released the footage is in quotes, that answers absolutely nothing. The police are saying he had a gun, that he pointed at them. We don't even know that he for sure had a gun. We don't know if he had a gun. There's no evidence that says without a doubt this man had a gun. There's no evidence
or anything like that.
Huh?
So no body cameras on the police officers?
So the body cameras that they released, which was heavily edited and narrated, they claimed they're like, there's the gun, and they circled his left hand. Now he's running. He's running from them. His hands are up like this, and it's from a far distance. You can't tell if anything is in this man's hand. I mean, could there have been something potentially? You can't tell for sure. When he initially goes to run, there's something in his like pants that looks like it could be a gun. It also, other people are saying it was a gold belt buckle. Personally, I couldn't tell for sure what it was. I don't know what it was. But it happened so fast, and he's running. They immediately go to shoot the guy. That's their immediate reaction, go to shoot the guy. And then, of course, when they do, the cameras are off. One of the cops covered their camera. So it's very, 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 very suspect, to say the least. And we had to wait over a week for this footage. And after the footage was released, it answered zero questions. Zero questions.
Yeah,
so it was shady beyond comprehension. So yesterday they did a hearing where they were deciding whether or not they were going to have civilian oversight for police. And there was a protest. I want to share some of this. So here's part of the protest. So I know you can't hear it terribly well. I was just sort of, I was part of the protest. I was part of the march, and I was, just kind of showing it from my, from my phone. But what's interesting to me, this is what happened throughout the march. People throughout Old Town, people were out on patios eating, they have patios open and whatnot. People were stopping, and they were listening, and they were applauding. And some people even joined the march, which is sort of an uplifting moment. It gave you a little bit of hope as you're marching and you see your city applauding you and joining you. Now, I will say that it wasn't all good. Here's a video I'll share next. Now, an attorney friend of mine told me to make sure I point out the fact that Hi, I'm only
up, and in this video, I'm going to show you how anyone can quickly and easily create dual videos.
It just started an ad automatically. Here, hold up. So my buddy, who's an attorney, made me give a quick disclaimer here. A truck did weave in and out of the protesters, and with the way this guy was driving, I don't know what else he could have been doing other than trying to antagonize the protesters. The protesters were on the street marching. It was a peaceful march, a peaceful demonstration. And all of a sudden, this guy just swerves. He was about maybe a foot from me. He just swerves across the protesters. I don't know what he was doing, if not trying to antagonize the protesters. He swerved all the way to the right side. He did not make a right-hand turn. So it's not like, oh, maybe this guy had an emergency that he was trying to get to, and he made a kind of poor, reckless judgment call while driving. I don't know what else this guy was doing, if not trying to antagonize the protesters or worse. And the footage that I captured is not very high quality. The reason for that is because with one hand, I was filming, so I was a little shaky, because with the other hand, I was trying to shield a young girl who got separated from her family. There were a lot of families here, by the way. So there were a lot of children when this guy decided to do this. There was a young girl who was by herself. She was, very, very small. And I noticed she was just kind of close to the truck. So I had my other arm out to kind of shield her. And you hear me at one point in the video yell, "There's a little girl." The reason I yelled at is because, you know, she was a little kid and she was just kind of running around. She didn't necessarily, but she ran kind of close to the truck. The guy who heard me yell that just sort of scooped her up and then brought her back to, you know, the person she was with, her guardian or parent or, you know, whoever it was she was with. But so here's that footage. Here is that footage. Again, I apologize for the quality of it, but I told you why.
This man's a little girl.
So there you hear me yell, which, you know, without the proper context, hearing a weird looking dude like me yell little girl, that's kind of creepy if the right context is not known. But here, so we don't really need the audio here because I basically just say, but this is what happened. This is the company. So it's a router company. It's a plumbing company. I looked them up. They're located right in Glendale. And this guy, so again, he just went across traffic. When I got in front of the thing, he started moving forward again. So he went across traffic. He did not make a right at any point. So this guy, we were marching there. He just went all across traffic, cutting off the protesters. So not everyone was a good apple, so to speak, throughout this protest, but most people were stopping. They were listening. They were applauding. And some people even joined the march.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your